At 60 plus, could saying yes to a friends with benefits arrangement bring you comfort or quietly break your heart? Welcome to Wise Advice for Elderly. So grateful to have you here. Today, I want to address a topic that many women our age think about but rarely discuss openly: the reality of casual, intimate relationships after 60. If you've been curious about or considering this path, this honest conversation will help you understand both the possibilities and the potential pitfalls. Before we begin this candid and important conversation, please take a moment to click the like button, subscribe to Wise Advice for Elderly, and turn on the notification bells so you never miss insights that address the real questions and challenges we face in our later years. Understanding what friends with benefits really means at our age. First, let's be honest about what we're actually discussing. Friends with benefits typically refers to a relationship that combines friendship with physical intimacy, but without the commitment, expectations, or emotional complications of traditional romance. At our age, this might seem like an appealing compromise, the warmth of human connection without the complexities of merging lives that have already been fully lived. For women over 60, this arrangement might feel attractive for several reasons. You maintain your independence and established routines, avoid the potential drama of serious relationships, satisfy needs for companionship and intimacy without the pressure of long-term commitment, and potentially enjoy physical pleasure without the emotional vulnerability of falling in love. But here's what we must understand. At our age and stage of emotional development, these arrangements are far more complex than they might appear on the surface. We're not college students experimenting with casual relationships. We're mature women with decades of experience in love, loss, and the deep human need for meaningful connection. The ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle spoke of three types of relationships: those based on utility, those based on pleasure, and those based on virtue and genuine care. Friends with benefits arrangements typically fall into the first two categories, but at our age, we often crave the deeper fulfillment that comes only from the third. As Maya Angelou taught us, when we know better, we do better. Part of knowing better at our age is understanding that our emotional and physical needs are more intertwined than they were in our youth, making truly casual intimacy much more complicated than it might initially appear. The emotional realities women over 60 face. The second truth we must acknowledge is that women over 60 often find it much more difficult to separate physical intimacy from emotional attachment than younger women do. This isn't a weakness, it's a reflection of emotional maturity and the deep understanding of what intimacy truly means. After decades of life experience, most of us have learned that physical intimacy creates emotional bonds whether we intend it to or not. The hormone oxytocin, released during intimate contact, creates feelings of attachment and bonding that don't respect our intellectual decisions to keep things casual. This biological reality doesn't disappear with age. If anything, it becomes more pronounced as we become more aware of our deeper emotional needs. I knew a woman named Catherine, a 68-year-old widow who entered what she thought would be a simple friends with benefits arrangement with a neighbor after 2 years of loneliness following her husband's death. She told myself I just needed companionship and physical affection without complications, she shared. But within months, I found myself hoping for more, analyzing his words for deeper meaning, and feeling hurt when he mentioned dating other women. Catherine's experience illustrates a crucial truth. At our age and stage of emotional development, these arrangements are far more complex than they might appear on the surface. We're not college students experimenting with casual relationships. We're mature women with decades of experience in love, loss, and the deep human need for meaningful connection. Have you experienced the challenge of keeping emotions separate from physical intimacy? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your honesty might help another woman understand her own feelings better. The practical considerations you must think through. The third reality we must address is the practical complications that friends with benefits arrangements can create in the lives of women over 60. Complications that younger people might not face. At our age, we often have adult children, grandchildren, and established social circles who may not understand or approve of casual, intimate relationships. Unlike younger adults who are expected to date casually, women over 60 who engage in these arrangements may face judgment, gossip, or family disapproval that can complicate their lives significantly. There's also the question of sexual health and safety. The fastest growing demographic for sexually transmitted infections is adults over 50, partly because many people assume that age provides protection from these risks. If you're considering intimate relationships of any kind, honest conversations about sexual health, recent testing, and protection are essential. Conversations that can feel awkward but are absolutely necessary. Additionally, there's the matter of emotional safety. Women over 60 who enter friends with benefits arrangements often do so from a place of vulnerability, loneliness, grief, or fear of never finding love again. These emotional states can make it difficult to maintain the boundaries that casual relationships require, leading to hurt feelings, disappointments, and sometimes genuine heartbreak. Dorothy, a 72-year-old retired teacher, learned this lesson painfully. I thought I could handle a casual relationship because I was too old for romantic fairy tales, but I discovered that needing comfort and affection made me more vulnerable, not less vulnerable, to getting hurt when things inevitably ended. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." Sometimes, the thinking that leads us towards casual arrangements is actually a way of avoiding the deeper work of understanding what we truly need for happiness and fulfillment. What women over 60 really need instead. The fourth truth is that what many women over 60 think they want in a friends with benefits arrangement, companionship, affection, physical intimacy, and emotional connection without commitment, is actually what they could have in a healthy, mature, romantic relationship. The fear that drives many women toward casual arrangements is often the fear of being hurt again, the fear of losing independence, or the fear that serious relationships at our age are somehow inappropriate or unrealistic. But these fears may be preventing us from pursuing what would actually be more fulfilling, genuine partnerships with men who understand and appreciate mature love. At our age, romantic relationships don't have to look like they did in our 20s or 30s. They don't require merging households, combining finances, or giving up hard-won independence. Mature love can honor autonomy while providing deep connection, respect boundaries while offering intimacy, and celebrate individual lives while creating shared experiences. The relationship expert John Gottman's research shows that successful long-term relationships are built on friendship, admiration, and turning toward each other during stress. These elements can exist in mature romantic relationships without the complications that casual arrangements often create. I think of Eleanor, a 69-year-old artist who met James through a community art class. Their relationship developed slowly and intentionally. They maintained their separate homes, respected each other's established routines, and built a partnership based on mutual respect and genuine affection. We have everything I thought I wanted in a casual arrangement, but with the added joy of knowing we're committed to each other's happiness. Rainer Maria Rilke wrote, "The only journey is the one within." Sometimes the journey within reveals that what we think we want, casual intimacy, is actually a compromise for what we really need, authentic love and partnership. The alternative path, conscious companionship. Instead of settling for friends with benefits, consider what I call conscious companionship, relationships that honor both the need for independence and the deep human desire for meaningful connection. Conscious companionship might involve taking time to truly know someone before becoming intimate, being honest about your needs and boundaries from the beginning, maintaining your individual lives while creating shared experiences, communicating openly about expectations and feelings, and building relationships based on mutual respect rather than mutual convenience. This approach recognizes that at our age, we have the wisdom to create relationships that serve our actual needs, rather than settling for arrangements that only partially satisfy our deeper longings. It acknowledges that we deserve partnerships that honor both our independence and our capacity for love. The ancient Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu taught, "If you understand others, you are smart. If you understand yourself, you are illuminated." Understanding yourself at this stage of life might mean recognizing that the desire for casual intimacy often masks a deeper desire for authentic connection without the fear of loss. Many women over 60 have discovered that when they stop settling for less than they deserve, whether in casual arrangements or unsatisfying relationships, they create space for something much more fulfilling to enter their lives. This doesn't mean you must seek traditional marriage or conventional romantic relationships. It means being honest about what you truly want and need, then having the courage to pursue those things directly rather than accepting substitutes that leave you feeling empty or unsatisfied. What do you really want from intimate relationships at this stage of your life? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your clarity might help another woman understand her own needs better. The deeper questions to ask yourself. Before considering any intimate arrangement, ask yourself these deeper questions. Are you seeking casual intimacy because you genuinely prefer it, or because you're afraid of emotional vulnerability? Are you trying to avoid the possibility of loss by avoiding genuine attachment? Are you settling for partial fulfillment because you believe you don't deserve complete fulfillment? Are you choosing casual arrangements because you think they're more appropriate for your age? These questions matter because the answers reveal whether you're moving toward what you want or away from what you fear. Fear-based decisions rarely lead to lasting satisfaction, while desire-based decisions, even when they involve risk, often lead to genuine fulfillment. Carl Jung wrote, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." If the idea of friends with benefits irritates you, that irritation might be pointing toward a deeper truth about what you actually want. If it appeals to you, examine whether that appeal comes from genuine desire or from resignation about what you think is possible. At our age, we have the wisdom to distinguish between what we want and what we think we should want, between what would truly fulfill us and what seems safer or more convenient. This wisdom is one of the gifts of our later years, the ability to see through cultural messages and our own fears to understand our authentic desires. The choice isn't between casual relationships and no relationships, or between independence and intimacy. The choice is between settling for arrangements that only partially meet your needs and having the courage to pursue relationships that honor your complete self. Here's what I've learned from conversations with hundreds of women over 60. The most satisfied women at this stage of life are those who have learned to honor both their need for independence and their capacity for deep connection. They don't choose between autonomy and intimacy, they find ways to have both. They've learned that mature love doesn't require losing yourself in another person, that commitment doesn't mean giving up your hard-won freedom, and that vulnerability doesn't mean defenselessness. They've discovered that the right person will celebrate your independence rather than threaten it, support your individual growth rather than stunt it, and add to your life rather than complicate it unnecessarily. This understanding often leads them away from casual arrangements and toward conscious partnerships that honor the full spectrum of their human needs. They realize that at their age, they can afford to be selective, patient, and intentional about who they allow into their intimate lives. The Roman philosopher Seneca taught, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." Perhaps the end of believing that casual intimacy is enough can become the beginning of pursuing the kind of conscious, respectful, fulfilling partnerships that our mature hearts truly desire. This doesn't mean judging women who choose different paths, but it does mean being honest about what paths lead to the deepest satisfaction and joy. At our age, we owe it to ourselves to pursue what genuinely fulfills us, rather than what seems safer or easier. The deepest truth about intimacy after 60 is that we have the opportunity to experience it with a level of consciousness, wisdom, and authenticity that wasn't possible in our younger years. We know ourselves better. We understand our needs more clearly, and we have the emotional intelligence to create relationships that truly serve our highest good. Whether you choose conscious companionship, committed partnership, or decide to focus on other forms of fulfillment, the key is making choices from wisdom rather than fear, from authentic desire rather than resignation, from self-love rather than self-compromise. As Maya Angelou taught us, when we know better, we do better. Part of knowing better at our age is understanding that we deserve relationships, intimate or otherwise, that honor our complete selves, celebrate our autonomy, and contribute to our genuine happiness rather than merely providing temporary comfort or convenience. As we conclude this honest exploration of intimate relationships after 60, I hope you feel empowered to make choices that truly serve your authentic needs, rather than settling for arrangements that only partially satisfy your deeper longings. The question isn't whether friends with benefits arrangements are right or wrong. The question is whether they're right for you at this stage of your life, given your actual needs and desires, rather than what you think you should want or what seems safer to pursue. You deserve relationships, intimate or otherwise, that celebrate your wisdom, honor your independence, and contribute to your genuine happiness, rather than merely providing temporary comfort or convenience. As we conclude this honest exploration of intimate relationships after 60, I hope you feel empowered to make choices that truly serve your authentic needs, rather than settling for arrangements that only partially satisfy your deeper longings. The question isn't whether friends with benefits arrangements are right or wrong. The question is whether they're right for you at this stage of your life, given your actual needs and desires, rather than what you think you should want or what seems safer to pursue. You deserve relationships, intimate or otherwise, that celebrate your wisdom, honor your independence, and contribute to your genuine happiness, rather than merely providing temporary comfort or convenience. As we conclude this honest exploration of intimate relationships after 60, I hope you feel empowered to make choices that truly serve your authentic needs, rather than settling for arrangements that only partially satisfy your deeper longings. The question isn't whether casual arrangements are right or wrong. The question is whether they're right for you at this stage of your life, given your actual needs and desires, rather than what you think you should want or what seems safer to pursue. You deserve relationships, intimate or otherwise, that celebrate your wisdom, honor your independence, and contribute to your genuine happiness, rather than merely providing temporary comfort or convenience. You deserve to be with people who see your complete self as valuable, not just the parts that provide them comfort or pleasure. If you've been considering casual arrangements because you believe they're more realistic or appropriate for your age, I encourage you to examine those beliefs. If you've been avoiding deeper connections out of fear, consider whether that fear is protecting you or limiting you. The love and intimacy available to you at this stage of life can be richer, more conscious, and more satisfying than anything you experienced in your youth, if you have the courage to pursue what you truly want rather than accepting what seems easier or safer. Dear friends, if this honest conversation helped clarify your thoughts about intimacy and relationships after 60, please support this space of authentic dialogue by clicking like, subscribe, and turning on the notification bell so Wise Advice for Elderly can continue addressing the real questions and challenges we face in our later years. Thank you for staying until the end of this sensitive but important discussion. Wishing you the wisdom to understand your true needs, the courage to pursue authentic fulfillment, and the self-love to accept nothing less than relationships that truly honor who you are. We'll see you in the next thoughtful reflection.